We started this chapter off by talking about ways to estimate. We found out that we had three different possibilities. Rounding, which is the most common one, front-end estimation with an adjust, which we only started talking about toward the end of our last session, and clustering. Clustering works when all the numbers are near each other. Rounding always works, and front estimation we're going to find is the most accurate of all the estimations that we talked about. So let's try one or two of each, and then we'll focus a little bit more on that front end with the adjust. Let's go back to rounding. Now when we're doing rounding, if we're looking at sums and differences, we want to be sure that we're rounding all the numbers to the same place value. In our first one, we could easily round them all to the nearest whole number. In that case, I'm looking here at the 4 and the 5. Rounding to the nearest whole number would give me 15 plus 25. So this is approximately equal to 40. And when we talk about estimations, we could estimate slightly differently and either get the same answer or another close estimate. So as long as your answer is reasonable, it's acceptable. In the next one, let's round them all again to the same place. Let's round to the tens. So if we round this, we'll get 290 minus 60. And 290 minus $60 is approximately equal to $230. Again, rounding to a given place value, just to get an idea if our actual calculations are correct. We then looked at clustering. Clustering works, again, when the numbers are all close to each other. So if I look at 12 and 2/10 plus 11 and 9/10 plus 11 and 6/10 plus 12 and 1/10, I'm noticing they all cluster around 12. Then I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 addends. So then I'm going to say this is approximately equal to 48. Let's see a second clustering problem. Look at each of these several numbers. They're all different addends: 6 and 3/10 plus 5 and 7/10 plus 5 and 9/10 plus 6 and 1/10 plus 6 and 5/10. They all cluster around 6, a little above, a little below. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different addends. This answer is approximately equal to 30. When we did this last time, we also did the actual calculation to see if the answers were close. Now let's go back to that front end with adjust. We had only done one or two problems at the end of our last meeting. So front end with adjust says I'm taking these numbers, in this case it's dollar values, $1.07, $2.49, $7.40. They're telling us to take this first column here and add them up. 7 plus 2 plus 1 gives me 10. Now the second part of this says take what's left over, the change part here, let's round it to the nearest place value. Let's round them all. So then we get, and then I'm going to add these up. And I'm going to add these two together. So 10 plus 1, this is approximately equal to $11. Front end with an adjust. This is the adjustment here. I'm not rounding. In the first part, I'm taking whatever the first digits are, adding those up. Second thing I'm going to do is round what's left over to make the adjustment. Let's see another problem. Again, I've highlighted the front end digit. I'm going to write them this way. So now I see I have that 5. So if I add this up, I'm just looking at those front digits, that would give me 500. Now let's get to the rounding part. I'm going to take 71 and round it. I'm going to take 12 and round it. The sum of those two is 80. This is approximately equal to 580. Let's see one more. This time I have three add-ins. 3,452, 1,329, 2,075. The front digits are a 3, a 1, and a 2. That's 3,000 plus 1,000 plus 2,000 gives me 6,000. Now let's take what's left over. 452, round it to the nearest hundred, gives me 500. Let's round 329, and that's 300. Let's round 75, and that's about 100. Let's add these all up. 5, 3 is 8, and 1 is 9. That's another 900 to adjust. And I add these two together. It's approximately equal to 6,900. So looking at estimation, we found that there were several ways that we could estimate. Front end with the adjust, clustering, and lastly, the rounding. Again, whatever method works best depending on the numbers, and sometimes you'll be told to use one method, other times you'll choose the method that works best either for the set of numbers or what works best for you. Now in our next session, we're going to be talking about estimating decimal products and quotients. But for today, I'm just going to end it with these three methods of estimation for sums and differences: the rounding, the front-end estimation with adjust, and clustering. When we meet in person today, we'll go over them again.